Eats and eats and eats and treats.
Well, hello and welcome to the Joy Holiday channel. My name is Marissa, and today on Eats and Treats we are celebrating 4th of July. We will be making a gluten-free American flag cake. Here I have my cakes that I have pre-baked and have cooled, and now I will go ahead and show you how to assemble the gluten-free American flag cake. For our Patriotic American flag cake, I have my white cake that I've started off with here. I started with a gluten-free cake mix. I really prefer the King Arthur cake mix. I found that the flavor is delicious and it almost tastes like a real cake. So I like to go ahead and cut off the top of our cake and just level it off. I'm using a serrated knife here. And you can save the top of the cake. You can use it for cake pops. You can make parfaits if you'd like. Kind of just eat it if you'd like with a little of the extra frosting. So we'll just go ahead and level this off. As you can see, this cake, the texture is just beautiful. You can't even tell that it's a gluten-free cake. So we're gonna be making 3 layers. And don't worry about the crumbs. I have a little trick for you later as far as minimizing the crumbs in your cake. So we'll just score our cake first to make sure that we have enough for our 3 layers. Now if you have a cake stand, I prefer to use that because it makes the cutting a little bit easier because it just spins with your cake. So we'll go ahead and we'll cut our 3 layers here. And it just go a little into the center. And then just spin your cake around. Now we really like to be conscious of our viewers that have specific dietary restrictions, specifically those that have celiac or gluten intolerances. And this is just a great option, as well as it will definitely wow your guests at any barbecue or family party get together for the 4th of July. First layer there. We'll get our second layer going. Now you can also pre-make your own gluten-free mix. It's really your preference. If you want to keep it easy, I would definitely prefer the box. But if you want to kick it up a couple notches and bring out your inner pastry chef, you can always mix your own gluten-free flours and find some delicious recipes. All right, there we are. So we have our 3 layers. So we'll just set those to the side. Beautiful. Now we are going to do our red layer. Now the red, we only need 2 layers, as opposed to the white where we did 3 layers. So what I did was I used 2 cake box mixes, and I used one of them for the white, and then the other box I split up between the red and the blue. And what I also did is I used our all-natural food dyes. This recipe is nut-free, gluten-free, and dye-free. So all of you moms and dads out there that really like to avoid any of those yellow number 2s or blue number 7s, this is a recipe for you. Spin that around, get through the center, and there we are. So that's split into 2. Beautiful. Here we have our gluten-free cakes. I have my red that I leveled off the top and I've cut it into 2 layers. I have our white cake that I cut into 3 layers. And then we have our blue cake that is going to be our top layer that I'm just going to level off. Beautiful. And we'll set those extra cake tops along the side and we'll eat those later with our extra frosting. So now we are going to take our blue cake and we are going to cut the center out of it for our American flag. Now I love this because it's going to be a very patriotic cake, and you can really wow your family and friends with this cake. It's really not that difficult. So just take a knife and just follow along. And this is a 6-inch parchment paper round that we are cutting the center out of. You should just be able to lift it up. Maybe let's flip it over. See if we got through on the other side. Just kind of gently press it. You can also take your knife and run that along. Kind of just feel where the rest of the cut is. Beautiful. All right, I'll flip that back over. There we have our top layer. We can make a little yummy mini cake with this guy. Set that to the side. All right. So we have that. We'll set that to our side here. Do some rotating. So we're going to start off with our white cake at the bottom. All right, I have my white cake here, and this is going to be the top layer with the blue. It's going to fill the center here. So we're going to take our same parchment round that we had before, and we are going to cut around on one of our white cake layers. And just go ahead and use the paring knife, and then you can go ahead and save the outer part of the cake. You can use those for cake pops. Because who doesn't love cake scraps? 4th of July is a holiday celebrated in the United States of America that celebrates a nation of immigrants with a culturally diverse heritage. Now, me personally, I can relate to that. I have a little German, a little French, some Hispanic, a little Indian. So I definitely am a melting pot. So we have here, we've cut out our center circle, and we'll go ahead and we'll save these scraps for later. And as you can see, this is gonna fit perfectly into our center. Beautiful. All right, well, let's start assembling our cake. Let's go over the ingredients that you'll need. So today I have some fresh blueberries, some fresh strawberries, some fresh raspberries, because we are going to be topping our cake with some fresh berries. It'll be delicious, especially for summertime. I have some freshly sliced strawberries here that we're going to use in the center of our cake with some strawberry jam that we're going to mix in together. I also have some simple syrup here that we will be using in between each layer of the cake to minimize the crumbs. And that's just equal parts cane sugar and hot water, and mix until the sugar is dissolved. We have our cake board here as our base. We have our cutting board as kind of our staple here. I have made 2 different kinds of frosting for our Patriotic American flag cake. We have our vanilla buttercream, and then I have used our all-natural food dyes, True Color. It is an amazing brand. The colors, as you can see, are very true, as opposed to using the artificial dyes, which some people definitely have some issues with those. And then I also have our cake layers here, our gluten-free cake. I have a couple different star tip options that we're going to be playing with as far as for our borders for the cake. Now let's get started and start assembling our cake. So I like to start off with my cardboard base. Then I place a little bit of frosting just at the base. It's kind of like our edible glue. And then we will use our white cake, the bottom layer, to start. We'll press that down, place that nice in the center of our board. Now feel free, we had a red and white glue board, but you can use whatever color you'd like. First, we use our simple syrup. So this avoids getting crumbs in our frosting and just makes for a more professional looking cake. We've also shown you the option, you can use a pastry brush, or for funsies, you can also use a squeeze bottle. Now we are going to pipe on our cream cheese frosting. Now I love these round robins because you can just turn it and it makes it very effortless when you're piping on your cake. So we will go ahead, we'll pipe a nice circle. There we are. I like to keep a little hot water on the table, work surface, and then you can just easily smooth that out so it's nice and even. And you can come out to the outer edge because we're going to frost our cake as well. So if a little bit comes over the edge, that's quite all right. Just kind of want to make it nice and level. Okay, now we will do our next layer, the red. We're going to do another simple syrup. Now as you can see, it just helps the crumbs just stay put, and it adds a little extra sweetness to the cake. And for this layer, we are going to do a little bit of strawberry jam and some more of that cream cheese frosting. So first we'll spoon on, I'd say a little over, maybe 2 tablespoons. Just spread that out. This is gonna be delicious. It's kind of like a strawberry shortcake mashed up with a delicious buttercream cake. Now we're gonna top that with our cream cheese frosting. We'll start on our outer edge. We have our offset spatula here, and just wipe off any excess water. It just makes it so easy just to spread your icing. So I love 4th of July because it's just a great time in the middle of summer to gather all of your friends and your family and to just enjoy the summer. This is a great dessert to bring that is a crowd pleaser. So next we will do our white layer. Beautiful. Now let's show you how to use the squeeze bottle simple syrup. And that's a lot easier. Just drizzle it on. We can finish off by just wiping it with our pastry brush. Beautiful. Now this layer we're going to do our sliced strawberries mixed with some of that strawberry jam. So we will do our border of our frosting, and this is going to hold in our strawberry filling. And just spoon that on there. Now feel free to use whatever fresh fruit you fancy. I love strawberries, and so does my family. It's always a crowd pleaser. But you can use raspberries, you can use blueberries. Now we are going to do our last red. And let's flip that over. We'll just press that down, nice and firm. Let's go ahead and we are going to add our simple syrup to our next layer of cake. All right, so we're gonna do our frosting, cream cheese frosting. Now you can also use buttercream frosting. If you wanted to add a little whipped cream layer, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Those are just a couple other different options as far as fillings for you. Okay, now it's time for our blue layer. Looks awesome. Okay, now for our white layer, I'm going to add simple syrup, and this is going to go to the next layer. We're just gonna flip it over. So we already have frosting there. Now that we have placed our final layer on our beautiful Patriotic, gluten-free, nut-free, dye-free American flag cake, we are going to do our crumb coating, and then we're gonna pop it in the freezer for 30 minutes to an hour to let it sit, and then we will do our final decorations. Now it doesn't have to be anything fancy or pretty. It's just a nice coating just to seal in the cake, and then we're gonna go back over and decorate it and make it look beautiful. And you want the coating to be as thin as possible. So if the cake is showing through, that's quite all right. Now that we have finished our crumb coating, I'm just going over the top of the cake just to smooth it out, and then we can pop it in the freezer for about 30 minutes to an hour and let it set, and then we will finish our final decorations. Our cake has been chilling for the last hour. Now we are ready to do the final decorations. Now I'm going to cover our edges here with buttercream frosting, and then we are going to finish off with our swirled borders and some fresh fruit in the center. So you can just go ahead, spin your cake around. We're just going to cover up all of the cake that's showing through. Now I like to use the flat round tip for this because it disperses the icing evenly. more rustic look on my cakes. So it leaves you a little wiggle room while you're transporting, just in case the edges hit the side of the box or you have a little rustling while you're driving it to your destination. A little tip for transportation, I like to freeze my cake, and then while you're transporting it, allow it to defrost if you're traveling to the beach or you're going to a barbecue. So in these warmer months, it allows time for it to cool and be ready to eat when you're ready. Now we've started doing the border, and as you can see, it starts off white, we have our red, and then our blue is gonna come shining through here very shortly. And it's just a fun, gradual way to add a little of your own personal flair to the cake. Now I like to do kind of like a wave motion. You still have that beautiful swirl here. It almost reminds me of cotton candy, one of my favorite holiday treats. Now here with our cake, this is a great time to personalize it yourself. You can bring the kids in, you can add red, white, and blue sprinkles, you can use sanding sugar. I'm just gonna go ahead and complete the rest of decorating our cake with the rest of the buttercream that I have, but please feel free to be as creative as you'd like. Thank you for joining us here on the Joy Holiday channel. Happy 4th of July to all of you viewers out there, and I just want to let you know you can make this cake at home as well. Just follow our step-by-step video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, and Facebook. And now for the final taste test. I am so excited. I have been waiting all day to taste this cake. Delicious. Thanks for joining us, and then we'll see you next time.
Eats and eats and eats and treats.